welcome back to Daily Scoop. I'm Indewujiro, and we have two interesting topics to talk about today. Today, we'll be talking about the effects of child labor and youth unemployment. Let's go to the first topic, the effects of child labor. Isn't this concerning? Well, what can we say child labor is? Child labor is the exploitation of children through any form of work that interferes with their ability to attend regular school or is mentally, physically, socially, and morally harmful, which can include child sex trafficking, using one's child to pay off family debt, forcefully using children for illicit acts like drug abuse and trafficking, road vendoring, etc. The International Labour Organization (ILO) describes child labor as work that is hazardous to a child's health and development, that demands too many hours and/or is performed by children who are too young, and this usually interferes with their right to education or right to play. Unfortunately, as it is always said, there's a reason for everything, and there are also reasons for child labor, which could include poverty, lack of access to education, cultural norms, or demand for cheap labor, among others. Now, having this knowledge of statistics and meaning of child labor, the question is, why is it important to address and eliminate child labor in the society? Well, this is my scoop on this issue. As said, children are the future of tomorrow, and if they are subject to child labor, which eats up their mental and physical health, deprives them from enjoying their right to essential things to grow, what kind of leaders do we then expect to raise? Looking at the implication of child labor on the mental health of children working long hours, often in dangerous conditions, which can lead to high level of stress and anxiety in children. The pressure to earn money for their families can be overwhelming, leaving these children with little or no time for play, education, and other activities that are crucial to healthy development. This can contribute to the onset of depression, anger issues, and other mental health problems in young children. Additionally, child laborers are at risk of physical and sexual abuse by employers, which can lead to long-lasting psychological trauma. Considering child labor from the standpoint of physical health, the physical health consequences of child labor can be severe and long-term. Children working in industries such as mining, manufacturing, agriculture are frequently exposed to dangerous machineries, harmful chemicals, and physical strain that exceeds their developmental ability. This can cause significant injuries like cuts, burns, and limb loss. Furthermore, the repetitious nature of many child labor duties can result in musculoskeletal issues, chronic discomfort, and stunted growth. Inclusively, child labor has negative impacts on children's social well-being. Children working in labor, particularly in secluded and exploitative circumstances, are denied the ability to engage in normal childhood activities like playing, socializing with friends, and attending school. And this impairs their capacity to acquire critical social and communicational skills. These children are at severe disadvantages when they enter adulthood because they did not have the opportunity to form social networks, obtain certifications from school, or even pursue their hobbies while they were children. More importantly, the devastating impact of child labor on the education of children cannot be overstated. When children are forced to work long hours in factories, fields, or mines instead of attending schools, they are robbed of the foundational knowledge they are meant to have, foundational skills they are meant to acquire, and credentials that are essential for social mobility and breaking the cycle of poverty in their family. Without access to education, these children are condemned. Without access to quality education, these children are condemned to a life of limited opportunities, struggling to find a stable employment and earn a living wage as adults. In conclusion, the issue of child labor should be taken seriously and should be acted upon by the government in Nigeria. The Child Rights Act of 2003 prohibits the employment of children under the age of 15 in any capacity except for light work and engaging a child in hazardous work or employment that interferes with the child's education, and this offence is punishable by 1 year of imprisonment or a fine up to 50,000 naira, which I find very absurd. In my opinion, these laws should be reviewed, giving harsher punishment to individuals who engage in child labor, and these laws should not just exist, but they should be acted upon. on to the next topic, we'll be talking about youth unemployment.
According to the National Bureau of Statistics, youth unemployment rate in Nigeria increased to 8.60% in the third quarter of 2023 from 7.20% in the second quarter of 2023. Youth unemployment rate in Nigeria averaged 22.97% from 2014 until 2023, reaching an all-time high of 53.40% in the fourth quarter of 2020 and a low record of 6.90% in the first quarter of 2023.
As much as it could be seen that rate in unemployment has reduced from 2020 to 2023, the issue of youth employment is still a disturbing issue in the country. Unemployment, in simple terms, can be said to be a state of having no work. But according to Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD), unemployment can be defined as when people above a specific age are not being in paid employment or self-employment but are currently available for work. Causes of unemployment may include lack of quality education, skill development, inadequate job opportunities, slow economic growth, and insufficient investment in certain sectors, among others. But in all of these, the question still remains to be, why is youth unemployment a growing issue in today's society? Here's my scoop on this issue. From the table of economic growth, high rates of youth unemployment pose significant challenges for a country's economic development and productivity. When a large portion of the working age population is unable to find gainful employment, it represents a major underutilization of human capital and potential. Furthermore, high youth unemployment can have ripple effects that impede broader resource utilization, as jobless young people often lack the means to fully participate in the economy as consumers, investors, or even taxpayers. This reduced economic activity translates to lower demands of goods and services, less investment in business ventures, and diminished tax revenues that governments can allocate towards infrastructure, services, and other drivers of development. From the perspective of social cohesion, high rates of youth unemployment can have far-reaching consequences for social cohesion, disparities, and intergenerational mobility. When large numbers of young people are unable to find meaningful work, it can contribute to the feeling of frustration, disengagement from mainstream social institutions and networks. This weakening of community ties and trust in government can in turn lead to social unrest, riots, and the rise of extremist movements as the illusioned youth seek outlets for their discontent. Young people from disadvantaged backgrounds tend to even face higher unemployment rates, tapping them in a cycle of poverty and movement as the illusioned youth seek outlets for their discontent. The divide between those who are employed and those who are not can aggravate existing socio-economic and demographic divides. Lack of employment opportunities prevents them from becoming financially independent and building a secure economic future. High youth unemployment undermines a social global image, signaling failure to develop human capital and diminishing international competitiveness and investment. This reputation of instability deters tourism, trade, and diplomacy as the country is seen as unsafe and ungovernable. The inability of young people to participate in cultural, economic, and political life reduces the country's soft power and influence. Persistent youth joblessness raises demographic concerns and tarnishes the country's reputation as a place of opportunity. Comprehensive policies addressing education, job creation, and inclusive growth are critical to enhance the country's international standing and project an image of dynamism and stability. However, in Nigeria, several policies have been put in place to address the persistent challenge of joblessness among Nigerian youth. One of these is the Empower program, which was launched in 2016 and it provides temporary employment and skill development for young Nigerians. And they have had over 500,000 beneficiaries as of 2023. There are also other policies, but the effectiveness of these policies have been limited as youth unemployment in Nigeria remains high at over 30%, indicating the need for comprehensive and sustained intervention. In conclusion, youth unemployment is a pressing issue that affects the country, and more effort should be put in to curb the issue in the country. Thank you very much for watching. That'll be all for today. See you in our next video. Bye.